Are you a Christian?
I am a
Do
Christian.
you have anger?
Anger. Do I have anger? Yeah. Yeah, I do. But, anger, look, anger can be either used destructively or it can be used constructively.
How can it
Um,
be used constructively?
well, the civil rights movement was anger used constructively. So you're pointing anger in the direction of change. Anger is the reclamation of rights if you've been violated. So you have to, be a good steward of anger. A lot of damage is done in the name of anger. Even if people who are kind of repressing anger, then they make themselves sick. So you can harm yourself or others. But I think anger, well navigated, is also information about things that need to evolve and change. And if something unfair has happened, it's human to feel angry about that.
But if anger is good, how do you explain that your mother traumatized you with her anger and caused you to become like her, and then you traumatize your daughter with your anger and cause her to become like you? And nobody is happy with anger, but I notice that when they overcome anger and they have perfect love, it's
Yeah,
all people have peace when they have perfect love, but when they
yeah.
have anger, they have no peace.
Yeah. Well, look, it's a beautiful subject for us to lean into. It is one of the seven deadly sins, anger. And I think that, we have to really be mindful when we do feel anger, but also Jesus said you have to forgive 70 times seven. And
Right.
that means it's not just an instant decision. No, I'm not going to be angry at that person anymore. You got to work something through.
Right.
And right, and the working through is about, okay, well, what's my part? And what do I need to change about how I show up? And where did I give my power away to that person? Where am I giving my power away to that person? A lot of times if you're mad at somebody, you're kind of now giving all your power to the other person to determine
Absolutely.
your peace of mind,
Yeah. That's why
right?
Jesus said that go and forgive and I will forgive you. So when like for example, your mother traumatized you, she could not help it because she had been traumatized. And once you realize you became like her and you go and say, "Hey mother, I'm sorry for resenting you for
Yeah.
traumatizing me. I become like you and I now understand you couldn't help yourself." Then Jesus will forgive you when you forgive her and you will no longer have anger and you
Yeah.
have peace, and that's more powerful than anger.
Yeah.
Isn't that deep?
Beautiful.
That's
Yeah, it's deep.
amazing,
It's
huh?
beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I became like my mother.
Well, who do you think you got your anger from? It didn't come from you.
Oh, well, I mean, I get angry about all sorts of
I
things,
know, but you were not born with anger. Your mother imposed her will, and you became like her when you were a kid.
Well, I used to be angry. I think I was more sad, truthfully,
Yeah.
about what happened in my childhood. And when I really started to look at it, I mean, here's the thing. When I was maybe 18 or something, I developed an eating disorder.
Yeah.
I started when I was 14.
Yeah.
And then by the time I was in my 20s, I was almost non-functional because I had such severe addiction to binge eating and then I'd starve myself. I was almost non-functional. So I went to 12-step programs for a long time and sat in those rooms. And that's how I learned how to deal with anger, how to take responsibility for my part, how to make amends to people, how to forgive myself, how to forgive others, and live in a way that was more in integrity with my soul than kind of captured by reactive processes. An addiction is just a reaction to,
Amazing. Well,
yeah,
last thing about it, once you overcome that anger, it's impossible. Once you forgive your mother and your father for not protecting you, God
yeah,
will forgive you. It'll be impossible to be depressed or anorexic or suicidal because you have peace. He would take that spirit away from you. You'll never have to be concerned about that.
let me tell you a story about this, okay? So when I was doing Calling in the One, one of the things I was praying every day was, what would I have to give up in order to be engaged by so the commitment I made was to be engaged by my 42nd birthday. It was 8 months away, no prospects for a husband. It was like a crazy thing to say,
Yeah.
right? But then I just would pray every day, say, okay, well, what would I need to let go of, God, in order to be who I would need to be
Yeah.
for that to happen. And one of the things that I saw was I had to let go of my anger at a former boyfriend. And boy, that was tough for me because what had happened was so unfair. We had a nonprofit together. It was my idea. I brought it to him. It was this gorgeous project we did down on Skid Row with people who were getting better from homelessness, and we were both musicians, so they were bringing songwriters and stuff down. Anyway, when we broke up, the project stayed with him, and then he wasn't doing anything with it, so it was dying. The
Right.
project was dying.
Yeah.
And I was so mad at him about that. And I couldn't forgive. I was trying to forgive and I couldn't forgive. I was trying. So I was praying for like days about it. And one night I went out for a walk and I'm standing outside. I'm looking up. It's the middle of winter. And all of a sudden, I don't know if you've had an experience like this, but I felt like I was surrounded by a host of angels. I just got transported to another state of mind, and I felt like there were angels surrounding me, and they spoke to me not like an actual voice, but just as a deeper knowing. And what they said to me is this, and this is about forgiveness. They said, "You are right that a great debt is due you, but if you keep holding on to him to get restitution for the debt, you're blocking us from giving you your due."
Amazing. That's
And
amazing.
and then I was able to let it go. I just let it go. When I let it go, I suddenly started to see all of the ways I had given my power away to him, the ways I didn't really want to be responsible for my own organization. So just kind of gave it to him. It was, and I saw how it was really my responsibility what had happened. And because I let go of him as the source of the restitution, all these blessings started to come in one
Nice.
after another. So I do think that, God knows well all of the things that have been done to us.
Yeah.
And that if we can just take our energy off of that person, by the way, that man became a very good friend of mine. He's no longer with us, but I helped him even in his transition. He was a good friend to the day he died.
Amazing.
So
So, have you apologized to your daughter for imposing your anger upon her?
I have, well, imposing my anger. I don't know that my daughter felt that I was imposing my anger, but I think that she did feel that she would have liked more of my attention.
Yeah.
And I have said I really am grieved about that. And I have made amends because I'm a big fan of amends. It's not just an apology.
Right.
I like making amends. You do it differently to the best of your ability, either with that person or you pay it forward to other people. But I have given my daughter a lot more of my time. She is the biggest priority. She's in college now and she actually needs just as much support as she did when she was in elementary school.
So you did to her what your mother did. Your mother didn't spend time with you, and likewise, you didn't spend time with your daughter, according to
I,
the daughter.
yeah, I spent more
Right.
time with my daughter than my mother did, so I was an improved version, but I not to the point where I wish that I had.